Welcome, welcome. We are going to do the June digital dealer,
Yes.
and we are sitting on the brand new Babylock
Brand
Radiant.
new, like as in it's been turned on, but that's it. We have not actually stitched on this machine yet. So you are seeing its maiden voyage.
Yes, yes,
So this is a very cute block.
it is.
I've always been a rhinestone fan, so I love that it's going to have a little little bling on it. I think that's going to be super fun. Outside of that, it's not really a
No,
crazy block by any stretch.
some heavy stitching.
A lot of stitching going around,
Yep.
some different things, and we do have some glitter that we'll be using, so we'll talk about our tips for using that. Otherwise, it's a fairly straightforward block.
Yeah, I think so.
So if you are working this at home, you do want to make sure that you have your quilting design and then your design, and then it does need to be shifted.
Yep.
So don't leave it centered. You want to pull that down so that the stems are at the bottom of the block.
Yep.
That's it.
That's it. Yeah.
Okay.
Should we start?
We should start.
Okay.
So we have in, I can't read that far,
ES 5829.
58, really?
Yeah.
Look at that, 5829. That is not what I would have said if I had been reading that number. This is going to match nicely with the background fabrics. So we just started with that one, so we didn't have to change again.
And we're doing the quilt as you go method.
Yep.
And so we're starting out with the placement line for our batting.
Which is right there. Somebody cut these. I didn't.
I see
I
that.
just found it, and I was like, oh, it's about a ½ inch bigger than what we need. So I don't have a lot of wiggle. So make sure. Well, we're gonna just
Yes.
make sure that stays
Stays
right.
in place.
There's not a lot of extra room in there.
And this is going to go around 2 times to keep that in place. You could, of course, tape it as usual. It won't surprise you to know that we didn't do that.
Yeah, so this is going to finish out at 6 by 8. So that batting was like 6.5 by 8.5. So I was like, well, it'll work.
Yeah. Oh.
Here's all of our.
I didn't sleep a wink last night. I just kept having.
I bet.
Well, and I have flown a million times, right? I kept having dreams that I missed my flight. I never missed my flight. Oh, sorry.
Scratched for me. I still have. It's not getting any better. That is so much better.
That is so much better, yes. Okay, so we're going to trim.
Not with these scissors.
Oh, I have a pair over here. Do you have a
There's
pair
a pair
over there?
here, so
Okay.
we'll give these a go, and if they are not good, oh, I think they're good.
Okay, good.
There is a straight pair somewhere floating around here. I don't even know where those came from. And I picked them up like accidentally a couple of times. I'm like, where did those come from? They like come down here, but then they're
Just yeah,
straight
see
out.
that double curve.
Yeah, one curve.
These are Lisa's favorite 6-inch double curve scissors. It used to just be, we could get them from Famore, but now lots of places have it, including Kimberbell.
Yep.
And Kimberbell has a nice pair. The biggest difference between them would be like the area where you put your fingers at, the holes.
These are a little bit bigger.
And
and
they
there's
have
a
little
coating.
padding, right? Yep.
There's a coating on just this top section here, which is their aqua color.
Yep.
And
That signature Kimberbell color.
I remember the first time I used those scissors, I was like, what is going on? My screw was loose. Ha, 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 ha. And so it was like it just pushed the fabric. It wasn't actually cutting anything because there was too much of a gap between it. So literally my screw was loose. And as soon as I tightened it, they worked beautifully fine.
Yeah.
But I was like, maybe these aren't that great, but had nothing to do with
Yeah.
it. But they literally came out of the package that way. So if you happen to have a pair of those and you're like, these aren't working very well, check the screw.
Yeah, your screw might be loose too.
Your screw may be loose as well. So sorry, pardon.
So we have our placement line for our fabric.
Which, if you're comfortable with, you could certainly skip that one because you kind of have an idea of where you're going to be putting this based on the batting. This one's just going to tack it down. It doesn't usually go around twice.
No.
Because
we're doing the quilting.
It's just holding it in place while it's being quilted. So this is that nice linen fabric.
It is, and we have our fabric starched, but we still have not put any fusible woven on the back of it. With the batting, it seems to be holding just fine.
Mm-hmm.
It might be different if your no-show mesh was maybe a lighter weight.
Mm-hmm.
Our no-show mesh.
This is the Leabu.
Yeah.
And it does tend to be a little bit more body than some others.
It's not super light.
This is the quilting. And it has little snails and
very cute.
What is it?
A mushroom, a toadstool. Yeah, snail and a caterpillar.
Caterpillar. That's what it is. Yep. I remember seeing the picture of it. I just couldn't remember.
Yep. And this is just a couple minutes, so I'm gonna pause the recording here, and we'll be right back. All right, the quilting is done.
And the next step that is coming up would be the placement line if we were not pre-quilting.
Pre-quilting.
So this is part of the regular design, and we're going to skip this one. So we're just going to go to the next guy, and then there's the tack down. So we're going to skip 2 color stops because we are doing the pre-quilting.
So we are technically on color number 8 because we have the pre-quilting and the embroidery design in the hoop at the same time.
Yes. So the first thing that we're going to see is it's kind of the back of the flowers. So we want to match our glitter because this would be like the other side of the flower.
Yep.
So at first when I was looking at it, I was like, well, maybe that should be light pink. And I'm like, no, those are the...
Yep.
So we are going to go with...
ES333.
And kind of a hot pink color.
And this does have our color tag on the top of it. So I'm assuming this is part of our...
This is from our kit. Yep.
SNL kit.
And I'm pretty sure that this quilting one is one that we've either added on or was in the original.
I have no idea where this is at.
I got you.
I don't think I can reach it. There you go.
Maybe.
The thread cutter is in a slightly different position.
Yeah, we're still learning it.
There we go. Sorry about the hand in the screen.
My bad. Because the projector is so large on this, they had to move the cutter from out here because otherwise it would block the projector. So it's back here a little bit farther. And it's not awkward so much as it is just different from every other machine.
Yeah.
So your muscle memory doesn't want to go there on its own. This is about a 6-minute stitch. And again, it's going to be the back of the large flower here and then the little tulip looking one over here.
Yep.
It's going to take a few minutes. So
we just a fill stitch.
It's just a, Yep. We'll be back in just a sec.
This is a really pretty pink. I know you're not a big pink fan.
I like hot pink. It's better than
like ballerina pink.
The ballerina pink. And that was maybe because I hated my ballet shoes. I don't know. But no, this is nice. It's a very rich color.
So our next color is deep gray, and this is going to be ES1716. This is also part of the original SNL kit. Oh, we've got this really tucked in there nicely. Tiny, tiny tail.
We have somebody here that wraps it like 4 times.
I'm going to pass the book to you now.
I don't know who it is. But, there we go. Yeah, like if you kind of palm, that kind of helps a little bit. So these are, I forget what they're called, but they're like the spires of, there's a word for it. Maybe I'll come up with it. But right now it's eluding me. Does it have a name there?
Let's see. It says the stamen details.
Stamen, that's the one.
Yes.
I don't think I would have got there because an S word was not on my tip of my tongue for sure.
Yep, this one's just a couple of minutes, so about 3 or 4 minutes of stitch time here.
Just satin lines. We'll be right back. We're going to the lighter pink.
All right, we are almost done with this, but you can see the little detail that's building up in there. It's pretty cute. Pretty darn cute.
So these are where we're going to be placing our rhinestones later on, are at the tips of those.
Yep, and then the next we're going to do this light pink, which is ES 305.
Which is also part of our our original SNL.
I didn't realize there was more. In my mind, we were done, but I guess we have to build the
little bottom parts.
So we're not quite wrapping this up.
Oh, sorry about that.
It's hard to get good
Hold,
help.
please. Okay, we really are done this time. So we're going to put that 305 in, which is a lighter pink. I'm sorry, I'm slacking.
You are. We're just we do not.
Neither of us got a lot of sleep, so we're
not in sync this morning. Okay.
This is a very large machine.
There you go. It is. It feels like a stretch.
It's like yay. Okay.
All right. Now this one is pretty quick, so let's do this. This is a little flower detail. It's going to go on top of the pink.
Yep. And then they have you using that to tack the light pink to tack down, so you get that pop. Instead of a blending, you get a popped edge.
Nice. Yep.
Where's that going?
Which
is it going to do these little guys? Or is there another blue?
No, I think so we're doing
that one.
That and then stitch the flower to front petal placement line.
It's just the
yeah, and then
okay.
They just made
the applique lines.
Yeah, they're just a weird color.
They just happen to be the color.
I
was like, I would have thought we would do those like towards the end because those look like they're on top of.
Yeah. And it might turn out to be that might be the applique for the flower. Yeah. After the green. We're just looking at the colors on the screen
that
here.
Are coming up on the. I don't know. That one does look pretty good. I don't really care.
Okay. I think I like 612 better. So that
placement line for the
it
glitter.
wasn't my imagination. The only thing we saw at the first
it didn't change until we cleared that. Yes. I was like, that can't be right. So one of the last update changed the color change screen that pops up, and they shrank it in half. So it must have been doing that all along. We just couldn't see what was behind it previously, which that still doesn't help in my opinion.
No.
But it's better than it was.
Yes.
All right.
And we have to peel the...
Yes. So I've got our piece of iron-on glitter. I'm going to peel that plastic off the top before we place it in there, maybe. Evidently, I'm challenged this morning.
In hand?
It's there, and then it flicks back down. There we go.
Okay.
You do want to be mildly gentle with this since it's such a large piece. I have actually ripped glitter because I was really fast.
Yeah, I
got a little exuberant and it didn't go well. So do be gentle. All right, so we are just going to completely cover up those placement lines and then tack that down. If this doesn't go around twice, leave it.
Pretty sturdy stitch. It's like a reinforced strip stitch.
It was kind of like a, almost like a triple stitch. Probably can rip that.
I think
Be
so.
okay.
Well, we'll know in a second, right?
We'll let you know. So it's not going around more than one time, but it's stitching multiple times in each step. So I think we're gonna give it a go. And again, we're still using that 305, so you see the edge stitching on there.
And then we're going to use the same color to do the details in there, or are we going to go back to the dark pink?
I think we probably can do the same color. I don't know what the detail is going to be, but whatever you think.
It's like
Oh, yeah, I think we can do the light pink. That way you see it. Otherwise, you won't really see them.
Right.
All right. I am going to give myself 2 pieces to work with instead of 1 and just tear towards my stitch line.
Sounds like it's tearing pretty good.
It is tearing just fine. So there's the one.
So much easier than trimming.
Oh God, yes. It's
I'm glad you finally saw the light.
I know. I was like, no, I want to cut it. I like to work harder. I think the time I had tried that,
probably was just
the
like
stitches
single,
weren't enough, and so that's why I shied away, was because I had had a bad experience with it. And
Kimberbell does recommend that you iron that down. Do you want me to fuse that before you put it back in, or you think it'll be okay? We've got the stitches going over top of it.
I think it's gonna be fine. If it has a little poof, flowers aren't flat.
Right.
So I think it'll be okay. Totally your choice, though.
I'm good with it. What's a little poof?
What's a little poof?
Between friends.
Well, I don't know. So there was probably a way to not need that much glitter, but that's also a lot of more work. So
yeah, let's not work that hard.
Nope. Smarter, not harder.
So there's like several starts and stops in this one. So even though there's not a lot of stitching, it'll take a couple minutes to do that. Yep. All right. So next is the stem.
And so that is the darker of the 2 greens.
We are going to do ES 953. This one does not have a marking on it, so I do not believe this was part of the original kit.
And it doesn't have, which neither did this one, but unfortunately our thread kit has been completely mangled.
Yep.
But
there you go.
Oh, thank you. We had a different color on spools, like a light purple, which it could have worn off, and we're not seeing them, but there were additional colors that we added. I did not mean to pull it that far. Let's go back to that. That we also had marked, and none of these have the purple marking either, but I am almost positive that was.
Yeah, but that looks like it might be, we might have
run out and pulled the new one. And
you know, the last time we were doing this, we were like, we need
to redo our thread kit.
Yeah, we need to, and maybe laminate our sheets.
Yep. I do have the printout. I even know right where they're all at. Even with all of the moving, I even know right where they're all at. But yeah, those were back before I started using Canva. I was still using my other program, and yeah. Did you hear what Tony said about the stickers? Because I don't know about the hearts.
Yes. All right. So see, and now it shows the next one.
That is very odd.
That was not my imagination, right?
Nope, it was not.
Okay.
Nope.
So now we are going to do ES 950. We're doing more of the like the leaves
other stems. It looks like that are thinner, and then leaves on the stem that we just did.
Yes. And it's really awkward over here. I'm just going to give it pass the buck
it's
here
a
now.
completely different reach
It is.
than what we had before. It is big.
It is. But it is quiet, which is different.
All right, so again, we're going to do some long stems and then some leaves. So this one is actually about 5 minutes.
Yes.
So we're going to be back when it's done doing it.
Right. So fast you won't even know we're
So
gone.
fast you want.
All right.
It
Back
looks
to
like
charcoal.
Charcoal. Okay,
Yes.
so I'm going to give you that.
Okay.
It is showing us what we're going to do this time.
Yeah.
That's a lot of thread.
Yeah. It's a long path, isn't it?
It is.
I don't think.
It's.
Can I find it? Oh, I
Hey.
found it.
Flying blind, and you still made it. Look at you go.
As I fall over.
Right. Here, let me catch you. Lay down in my lap.
Yay.
That's a little different.
There's some little detail on the leaves. This is pretty quick.
Yeah.
Couple jumps and we'll be done. And then
It looks like some applique.
I think so.
Blue, orange, yellow.
Mm-hmm.
That's their applique colors.
It is.
Those blue and those oranges.
And it looks like we'll be appliquing that flower. So maybe we'll want to put.
Is it the yellow flower first?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, I think we're going to go with ES612 as our yellow. It's a pretty close match to that. I think it'll look nice. Which I also feel like that's in our bonus list.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I have to add that to my list of to-dos, is to get that printed and laminated over here so that we aren't guessing on those things. We actually know. All right.
All right.
We're going to go ahead and put our yellow thread in, number 612. And this is going to work the large yellow flower kind of front and center there. Look at you go. That might be the angle that you need to be at.
You got to be on the other side of the machine.
Not in front of the needle, because that's just, this is,
yeah.
There's just not, I think you might have found the secret.
I think I found the secret.
Very nice. I have to remember that one.
Slide over a little bit. Like the electric slide.
Slide to the right. You know, every time I think, man, I'm over flowers. I've seen flowers.
Then somebody does a flower.
And I'm like, wow, this is really pretty.
Yeah.
DTF. We talked about ordering from so-and-so. I can get, all right, completely covering that up, and we're going to tack that little guy right back down. I looked at stalls. They're way more expensive.
Okay.
So, and when I uploaded the image, it didn't come out as clean. It they have a very different system.
Yeah.
So, you know, do we want to order from blanks?
Yeah.
And then maybe get a few more of like the 9 square thing?
I think so. I think those are going to be popular.
So,
I'd love to try to maybe
have a uniform shirt.
Right. I think I'd like to do it like it, because, you know, I like pink or purple, right? Sublimate it in pink and purple onto maybe a shirt to see how it would come out.
Sure. Well, I mean, they're all in Canva.
Yeah.
So.
Just to, you know, I think it would,
So we are looking at having some iron-on transfers that are ready to go, that you could put on a shirt, a bag,
right.
Whatever you want it to be, you know, back of a sweatshirt and that kind of thing, that are some just quilty sewing things, and then some that have the Leabu Sewing Center info and whatnot on there too. All right, so lots of little lines in here to get in. So
So slow and steady wins this race. Short, right?
Yeah,
like-
and I think, you know, don't be afraid to spin your hoop. So put it on a flat surface and then work your way around these.
Yeah, don't try to do this one in the hoop. Like, not in the
On
hoop,
the
on the
machine.
machine in the hoop. Take the hoop off the machine, but not your project out of the hoop.
Yep, that too. And if I recall from the picture, these are like candle wicking.
Yes, that is what it looks like. And then it's going to do the outline, so like the candle wicking on the design, and then it's going to do the little blue bell flower things. And then we have our other applique.
Spin, spin, spin.
Spin.
Do you have any friends, kids, or anything that's graduating? It's that time of year.
I do not.
All right, so we got that nice and trimmed up. Let's go back over here.
Ta-da!
And it's going to just do that decorative.
Yep, and that's going to take a couple minutes.
Looking like more.
Yep, a little bit of detail in the ends, I think.
Just some little lines.
Little lines, yes. And
Drawing
then
into the center.
after this, we're going to do
We're going to do
blue.
Okay.
We are going to do ES 379 is going to be our next color.
And that'll be the little like bluebell flowers right
Yep.
at the bottom there. And then we'll do the applique for the white flowers.
Mm-hmm. I thought we were closer to being done again.
Yeah, it's this same little, just little things that looks like we're about there, and then
Yep, so close.
it tricked us again.
It did.
I know.
All that starting and stopping.
Yes. I mean, the stitches themselves don't take any time
No.
at all. It's just the cut and shift. Poking me. I put a hair clip there so I wouldn't forget it. Hair was still just slightly damp, so I didn't want to clip it back at home because then you get a weird crease thing,
Yeah.
you know, like that kind of crimps it.
Yep.
So I'm like, well, this will work. And I'm like, what am I poking? Hitting my little hair clip pokes on my arm. It doesn't count if it's through clothes, right?
Totally.
Itch, itch, itch.
All right, so we are going to change to that ES 379. Oh, I had it, and then I lost it. I don't think I got far enough back.
Yeah, it's definitely back there for sure. All right, the little guy's right there.
Yep.
Should be pretty quick, but it is a couple minutes. So we definitely have got a lot of new fun things getting ready for this shop hop.
Yeah, lots of new fabric, lots of Kimberbell markdowns. So yeah, if you're checking for some stuff out on our website, you'll see some prices, or stop in. We have a whole slew of blanks and buttons and trims.
All kinds of stuff.
Yep.
So.
Wow. Okay,
those
so
are super cute.
They are very cute. Now we're going to do the outline for the applique. So we're changing to ES828. This is kind of like a yellowy, creamy color.
It does definitely have a hint of yellow to it, which we thought was kind of nice. It's kind of a creamy white fabric, so this doesn't necessarily match the fabric. It's a little bit shaded different than that. We spoke too soon.
I know.
Hey. All right.
Contort your hand in the most unusual way, and then it will work.
So there are two. There's a little bit larger one and then kind of a folded over half one right here. So we have two pieces of creamy white fabric. That's these guys here.
And then we'll do the decorative stitching on that. And then it looks like we have a center.
Yep.
We'll probably need
that.
Either the dark brown for the sunflower, or it's not a sunflower, yeah, or gray. That will work. That was the word I was looking for.
All right. So we're going to put our fabric over those lines, which are extremely hard to see. We're going to get that one there. I want to see. There we go.
Yep, there it is.
Did I get it?
It looks like it, yeah.
Okay. And we're going to tack those down. You could, of course, tape these. You could also pull your hoop out so you can actually see those lines a little easier rather than
guessing.
Trying to see through all of this stuff.
These are Kimberbell solids, and they do have a little bit of transparency to them. They're a little thinner.
Yep.
So you do see some of the stuff that's going on the back of it. So if that bothers you, this is definitely one of those places where you
could put
the fusible web,
if you wanted.
The fusible web, the fusible interfacing on the back of that. If you did a contrasting color for your background quilting, you might definitely want to do that because you might see
those stitches coming through.
Poking through, yeah.
There's not too much, just a little bit of stem that's kind of coming in.
Mm-hmm. And a little bit of the pink flower, but not too bad.
Just the edges a little bit, so I'm good with it.
Yeah.
I mean, in nature, you can see through some petals. So, you know, we're keeping it real.
We're keeping it real.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to trim these little guys. I'm going to do the same thing I did with the yellow and just keep spinning.
Spinning.
So, it's like Dory, except we're spinning instead of swimming. Trimmed, again, we're going to use that. It's just got a hint of yellow in there. We thought it would be a nice pop of color against it instead of too blendy.
Yep.
So here we go. Again, probably looks like candle wicking type stitching. It's going to be just a few minutes, so we'll be back in a sec.
Oops, hasn't started yet. We decided that we thought the color that we were using was a little too blendy. So for our second white color flower here, we're going to try a whiter color to see if that looks...
This is the natural, so it's not bright white, but it definitely doesn't have that yellow.
No, it does not.
In it. It just was kind of sinking into the background fabric.
It's too close to the...
The arm is right there.
The arm is in the way.
Yeah. If we just did that all the time, it would be fine. It's just the difference between the back and forth in is... So again, this is 015, which is called natural. It's not bright white, but it's definitely whiter than what we had before. So yeah.
Yeah, that definitely pops a
I
little
think
bit.
that helps the flower pop.
Yep.
For sure.
Do that.
Yeah. I think you'll.
Okay. All right, we are going to go to gray.
There's more room.
Yeah.
I think that's just the being able to do the, oops, sorry.
Yep.
The wide
Swoop. Yep.
Yep. All right. So the center of this little guy here. And then we've got centers of the white flowers. Two color stops. What's the pink color stop?
That is going to do the center for the lighter flowers.
Oh, the little star shape inside.
Yep.
Got it. What color are we going to do that in?
That's a really good question.
White, yellow? This might be a good choice for that other yellowish white that we...
Yeah. Maybe just go white now. Go back to white.
Oh, it's so nice to be able to do that without paint. Is it just me or is that like...
It's different.
Okay. I missed. I knew I missed even as I was doing it.
Okay, just a little detail on the inside of this flower, and then we have that flower center. And they recommend like a yellow. Do we want to go back to yellow for those flower centers? So we'll go back to our 612. And that is it.
Almost there. So yeah, I wouldn't change, I don't think anything. I think the pinks are good with those. And other than doing white total for those,
yeah,
I think everything worked very, very well. So once your stitching is all done, I think I would wait until you actually have your quilts together before putting on the rhinestones, just in case you don't want them to get stuck under your needle or anything.
Or your walking foot or your quilting,
anything like that. And
quilt through that.
It's just easier to add those once they're done. And because there's no stitching involved, you don't have to worry about the stitches on the back showing to get them done before you put the backing on. So I would wait, but that is just going to be a heat fix rhinestone. So you're going to place it right at the end of the stamen and then adhere your cute little rhinestone right at the end of those. That will be the finishing of this one. So
last color change.
So yeah, pretty straightforward.
There we go. Oh, and then I hit the wrong button. It is hard to get good help.
So close. Nope. Foot's down. It's not going anywhere. We'll trim that off. All right, so, or maybe it'll sew it in. That worked out well.
That worked out well.
So a little bit of yellow center here, nice little daisy-like look.
Yep.
And then we'll do the top center of the other white one, and that's it.
That is it.
So once you've got all of the yellow stitched here, that is all of the stitching. You'll do a trim on that exterior line or use your orange pop rulers if that is your gig. And then once everything's together, then add the rhinestones.
Exactly.
And that's it.
That's it. So this was a really cute simple Kimberbell block.
Yeah,
Nothing too
not
complicated.
complicated at all. And since they did the triple stitch, the ripping of the vinyl was
Worked.
very easy.
Yeah.
So yes, everything very straightforward. The only thing that we would change is use white for both of your white flowers.
Yes.
Instead of the little bit of yellow.
Yeah, use that natural white. That worked out.
I do like the way it looks.
Yeah.
Just not against the background.
Especially once you add the detail in it.
The detailing in there. It's very pretty.
It
I think
brought
it
that
was.
out. Yeah.
We both liked the way that it looked, but it
Exactly.
definitely kind of blends a little bit more. So.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hope you enjoyed that, and we'll be back next month.
Yeah. Bye.
See you then. 2 minutes to spare.
I know, right?